Hi, everybody. My name is Stevie B. I'm a recovered alcoholic and a member of the Golden Text group of Dania Beach and Alcoholics Anonymous in Hollywood. And it's great to be here with you guys tonight. Hi. And I want to just explain to you that I know that I have an eye issue. And but I want you to know I love all of you. Because it's been very hard to try to make eye contact and nobody knows who I'm looking at. And so my love, and I see all of you, and Sherry says, who are you looking at? I said, both of you. You know, it's not easy. I have so many friends in the room, and so when I see you, my heart fills up. And I know a lot of your stories, and I know a lot of your names. And we've been doing this together a long time. We have a lot of history together. We used to print cards together, hand out cards. We have you can go down the rows, and there's so many things that we have for years, and then new friends. And then people that you just met, and then old friends. You know, I feel like I know the three of you forever. And that's really the language of the Spirit, the language of the heart. God is love. And the universal language of Alcoholics Anonymous is love. And yes, there's going to be correction. There's going to be times when your sponsor is going to need to correct you. The meeting's going to need to correct you. You can't be going around saying silly nonsense stuff. You need to learn the etiquette of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm not saying tonight whether you do it or not. It's not about here. But when you go to meetings and there's a speaker that speaks, you go up to the speaker afterwards. You thank the speaker. That's the etiquette of Alcoholics Anonymous. You clean up after yourself. You leave the place better than the etiquette of Alcoholics Anonymous. If we don't have some people correcting us, then we won't know what to do. If people don't hand things down to us, we won't know what to do. But really, Michael said it really phenomenally, is that if you're here and you're uncomfortable, I'm going to just change it around a little bit. If you're here and uncomfortable, it will get better. I was never comfortable in my own skin most of my life, and that's why I drank. I did not drink because I liked the effect produced by alcohol, which is what the big book says. I drank because I didn't like the effect of me living in my own skin. And the moment I drank, I felt better about who I was. Being drunk was just the byproduct of not wanting to go back to the way that I used to feel without a drink in me. And then I found drugs, and then it was a whole nother equation. I'm not going to get into a drug story, but I am not definitely not a pure alcoholic. I'm definitely a real alcoholic, but my story it has a lot to do with drugs. And whatever the drug is, you know, whatever it is, Alcoholics Anonymous has a solution for our problem. And the problem is a lot of us and not enough God. And that's really the bottom line. And if you have a problem with the God thing, I'm just going to back up a little bit, just a couple weeks. I want you to know that the God thing is this. It's actually everything. However, don't freak out. If you're here tonight, for the new people that just got here, you're not a God person. I want you to know that God can come in any form that you want God to come in right now. And the big book says that whatever place that you're at, however inadequate, is a good place to start. It's an okay place to start. And what we said a couple weeks ago is that you can have a group of drunks. Like this would be a group of drunks. This would be a power greater than yourself, a group of drunks. And so people could tell you, your sponsor could tell you, if you get a sponsor tonight, a group can tell you what to do, encourage you to do certain things. And then you can have good orderly direction. That's another GOD, good orderly direction. And that could definitely be your sponsor. It could be you could be your support group, good orderly direction. And then what we're hoping, Jimmy and I are hoping, and then the rest of us are hoping, is that you stay long enough that you find out that this whole thing, this Alcoholics Anonymous, is really like a shill game. I don't know if you've ever been in New York where they have the 3-card Monty, and it really looks like you know where the coin is underneath the card, but you really don't know that there's a lot of people that are working with the guy that's doing the card game. It's called 3-card Monty, but a lot of people in the crowd work with that guy. And you actually think you're there to win money, but it turns out you're there to give your money to the guy. And Alcoholics Anonymous is a lot like that. We're going to tell you can find a God of your understanding. A doorknob is fine. A group of drunks, good Lord direction. We're going to tell you that, and then we're going to move the card. And then while we're selling you that, we're hoping you don't see that everybody's in on the game. But we're telling the other people, just tell them you could choose anything. You could choose anything. Can I choose a rug? You could choose a rug. It's larger than you. It can cover you. A blanket. Yeah, you could choose it. But then everybody's in on the game because most of us have found a new way of life. And we can't wait till you find it, but we'll wait long enough till you find it. But we're hoping that you don't wait long enough that you either die of this disease or you get drunk again or you spread some type of misinformation to your home group, to other people that are new. We're hoping you find it quicker than slowly. You see, there's a story that has to do with the 6th and 7th step, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Last week, we just hinted at it. It was a great fast meeting. By the way, I just want to say something about, I didn't know Troy in the beginning, so I'm not going to say anything about Troy. I know Troy now. He's a great guy. I get to see him during the day. But Charles, we thought Charles was going to die. I mean, we really had, I'm beyond, just not dramatic. We really had no hope for him. Charles picked up substances that nobody even heard of the substances Charles does. At like 58, he picked up a drug that nobody's ever heard of. They don't have treatment for the drug that Charlie decided to try at 58. We're like, what? Is that even a drug? And he did it so much that he basically mentally died. And 2 years later, he's an active member of Alcoholics Anonymous. He has sponsor. He probably sponsors guys. He goes to meetings with John. He works at ours. Just a great guy. You see, God can do all things. Mike, the other recipient tonight, called me up we were speaking today and he was saying how his day was tough. And he was like, my day is tough. Work is tough. I go, Mike, remember where we were at 4.5 years ago? You were fighting for the extra Jell-O so you didn't get shivved? You were like excited when someone sent commissary. Remember that where you were 4.5 years ago? He goes, yeah. You see, sometimes it gets, look at him tell you, he forgets where, because we clean up. I tell you, after that conversation, he wasn't like talking about work stuff, right? He was like, I don't have to get an extra Jell-O tonight. That's what you're going to sign up for. I agree with Mike is that you're going to be uncomfortable now, but it gets better. And I want to share something with you. It gets better pretty quick. Now, you're not going to be where you're at 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years, but you don't need to be. You know where you need to be? You need to be where you weren't last week. Because last week you didn't feel as good as this week. Most of the time it gets better just like that. I'm not saying it just goes up and up and up and up, but most of the time when you're here longer, right? I have a friend here that's here maybe 30 days now. She's here 30 days. She already looks different than 2 weeks ago. Because that's the power of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's the recreating God. I gave that beautiful woman there, Gina, her white chip when she first came in. Now she's a doctor. She's got like multiple degrees. I wouldn't have given her car keys when I first met her. That's what happens here. But in order to get there, you have to let go of some stuff here. Entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. What's defects of character? The defects of character that came up in your 5th step. We spoke about that last week. But sometimes we don't want to let them go. We want to hold on to them. There's a prayer that we're going to go over tonight. And I know some of you texted me that you wanted to do it we wanted the whole group to do it on your knees. And I appreciate that. I'm not saying that wouldn't have been powerful. But that's not the way that I do it in a group with the 7th step. But listen, yes, I got your text and do it at home on your knees. Do it with your sponsees on your knees. Of course, no problem. That's awesome to do that prayer on your knees. But what I want to share with you is just do the prayer. The prayer telling God that you're absolutely ready for him to remove these things that are killing you. Just be ready to do the prayer. Don't say things like, well, I'm never going to let that go, or that's just the way. No, that's just the way you are. That's just the way you are when you hold on to things that you should be letting go. And the whole process of, and I might have heard that from Bob or from Peter, but either one of them that has taught me that this whole process of recovery is not about what you can add, about what you can let be taken away from you. I wanted to be in control of everything. It turned out I wasn't in control of anything. And when you get to the 6th and 7th step, which is really the entire program bases on the 6th and 7th step. Because you can't be spiritual if you're acting out on your defects. You're not going to want to really work you're going to be, let me share something. You're going to be too busy to work the 12th step if you're in your defects of character. Because one of your defects of character is sloth, and you're not going to have enough time to help other people. I have a friend that's here tonight. He's 11 years sober. He came here out of his work schedule to come meet a sponsee. If he's in his defective character, he's not coming tonight because he's in selfishness. He's in self-seeking. He's in laziness. So he's not going to work all day, drive up to Boca, meet with a guy that I asked him if he could meet with, because he's letting that go. Selfishness is one of the things we need to let go of. So we come home after the 5th step, and then the big book tells us that we go into a quiet place, and then we review the first 5 steps. Did we do a good job? And it has this great picture of, did we make cement, without, having the right, ingredients? Basically what it's saying to us is your house being built on cement, or it's being built on sand that's going to fall apart? And the question is, did you do the first 5 steps to the best of your ability? Not perfect. Nobody does the steps perfect. Okay? There's no perfect 5th step. There's imperfect 5th steps. That's the one that you don't do. But there's really no perfect 5th step, because everybody, after the 5th step, most people say they've either forgot something or they purposely omit something. I had to purposely, I wasn't going to say this one thing to my sponsor because I didn't want him to think badly of me. And it's understandable. It was in sexual nature. And then my sponsor said, is there anything that you omit? Is there anything you didn't tell me? I said, no, I told you everything. And he said, well, I'm feeling like you didn't. Which I use all the time now. And if I have any sponsees in here, I'm just going to tell them, I use that. I'm just going to say that to you. It's not like I really have been downloaded anything. I'm just like, I feel like you didn't. And then I told him the thing I was holding back. And thank God I told him, because I would have been making a mistake by holding it. There's also things that have come to me after my 5th step that I needed to go back and to say to my sponsor, listen, remember that thing I said? I have other stuff to tell you. That's a 5.5 step. That's the stuff when you forget. And now if we can answer to satisfaction, we then take a look, we go to step 6. Now we're in step 6. We have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. Are we now ready to let go, and to let God remove from us all things which have admitted are objectionable? What was objectionable to me? The same thing that could be objectionable to me today. Okay, I had a conversation with a good friend of mine tonight, and I wasn't patient with that person on the phone. So what did I act out in today? Impatience. Okay? So any of these things can come back on any given day. And for the people that are just coming back and you've relapsed, or you haven't been in meetings a while, stop beating yourself up. Anybody can fall back on any day into sin. Some of the most spiritual people I know have had fist fights on golf courses and done crazy things, cut people off. It's the most spiritual people I know. You know why? These are human beings. If you ever go fishing with Joe W., you will see defects of character shoot out all over the place. And he still catches the biggest fish in town with all the craziness that he's got. I'm like, Lord, how is he going to catch it? He pulls in a marlin. Can God now take every one of these defects? Are you still holding on? Or are you letting go? There's a famous story that a pastor told me about a tribe, and I've shared this on Every Step series. There's a tribe in Africa, and and this is a true story. I'm sure it's probably ChatGPT-able. And they They like to dine on the brains of monkeys, rhesus monkeys. And apparently these monkeys are very fast and they can't go and grab them. So they came up with this ingenious system of where they put coconuts on the fence and they cut a hole in the coconut and they put a banana in there. And when the banana ripens, the monkeys come down from the trees, right? Which are not always easy to find monkeys. Sometimes it's very, very hard. We went monkey looking there last week. We couldn't find any monkeys. Apparently there's monkeys by the airport, and if you bring pistachios, they're supposed to come down from the trees, but they may not come out in the cold because it did not work for us. That has nothing to do with the step. I just want to share that with you. And they hang these coconuts on the fence, put a banana in it, and when the banana ripens, the monkeys come down from the trees and they put their little hands inside the coconuts and they make a fist around the banana. When they make a fist around the banana, they can't get their fist out of the coconut, and they start screaming, whatever they do, monkey yelling. And then when they're up there doing that, the villagers come out, whack them on the head, and they eat them. Yeah, it's terrible. That's the way they feel about us with cows. It's the same thing. The point is, the monkeys can't let go of the banana. And those of us that are holding on to defects of character that are killing us are like monkeys with a banana. We're like, why do you keep picking bad relationships? They won't let go. You have a broken picker. Yeah, I like a certain type of person, one that's just coming out of prison or out of treatment. You don't want to let go. I get to, every time I get to about 1 year and I relapse, they can't let go. It's not that they're relapsers. They have not let go of the defect of character that brings them back to the relapse. And how do you identify them? You identify them by doing a thorough fifth step. When you do a thorough fifth step, your sponsor, a rabbi, a priest, preacher, what we're doing it with, should help point you to the defects of character that are killing you. But I want to share something with you. Not everybody wants to change. Most people would much prefer being a victim than to take a look at the truth. And the only way to become free is to be entirely ready to hear the truth. Here's the truth. Not you, other people, other meetings. You are lazy, not this group. You don't want to know what you want to change. You don't want to change it. You want to do what you want to do. And when the results happen, you want to blame the situation instead of blaming the person that continues to go through the same situation every year or biannually or whenever it is. Because we're not entirely ready to have God remove this defect of character. Or these defects of character. And everybody knows what they are. Now, the reason I do the 7th step on my knees every day is because I'm begging my Creator on my knees to take the things that are killing my relationships, that are killing my reputation, that are killing my sovereignty with the Lord. I'm trying to make a pact with Him. I've made a pact with my eyes. I'm not supposed to look at anything other than my wife. If I don't do a pact with God, there's no way that I could do that. So I have to be entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character. And you know what? I have to humbly ask Him to remove my shortcomings. And humbly, for me, is getting into a position of humility before my Creator. And I said this a couple weeks ago. It's not about religion. Don't tell me what religion you are. Don't say that the type of religion you are doesn't get on your knees. That doesn't matter to God. It's about the posture of humility. Now, does that mean you can't do the 7th step except if you get on your knees? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying for me, when I get into the posture of humility and I say, God, please today, I want to focus on lust, anger, and envy. Those are my top 3. That's the 3 horsemen right now. But I didn't have envy when I first came in 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I knew everybody was envious of me. James, don't laugh. You know you felt the same exact way. So I didn't have envy. I had pride, huge pride. But now I have envy because I have envy, because I have one of the defects in my character is I compare. I compare my insides with your outsides. And it's easy to do. A lot of you drive cars that I'm envious of. Most of you, this is Boca, everybody here. Everybody here. I'm envious of you. Defect. I love you in the meeting. I never ask what you do. And then I see you get in your car and drive home in your 17 Series and I hate you. And that's my defect. And so I have to go before my God in the morning and say, God, please take this from me. I don't want to envy anybody. I want to love everybody. I want to be a love guy. I don't want to be an envy guy. Envy guys have squishy faces. Envy guys wind up drinking. I want to have a love face. I want to be happy for your success. I am happy for my friends. And guess what? The moment I start changing that, I'm happy for my friend's success. I'm happy for my friend's success. Then all of a sudden, then the love comes back. God, soften my heart. Then God, take away my anger. And on the times when I blow it, go back to him. It's not perfect. There's nobody in here that's perfect. There's not one speaker. Peter Marinelli's going to be the next speaker in April. He's not perfect. There is not one that's perfect. Don't get offended. Everybody Maddie, you think Maddie is the most perfect person you've ever met. I mean, he's close. He cursed out one of the apostles one time. I witnessed it. You saw it.
I did.
I think it was Peter.
Yep.
He had to make amends to one of the apostles of Jesus.
Yep.
And I say that in jest because we've all fallen short of the glory of God. And and this line, we practice progress, not perfection. It's so true. No one does this perfectly, and we're not supposed to. We take our program seriously. We could take the format seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. And here comes the prayer. And I do know this by heart, but I always start freaking out. I don't even have it up, so help me with it. My Creator, I'm now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. Take now every single defect of character that stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me your strength to do your bidding. Man. Amen. Amen. Yes. I'm now, right now, not last week, not tomorrow, we had a guy to die yesterday, Joe. A couple of weeks ago, we had another beautiful man, Joe, the guitarist up here, passed away unexpectedly. That beautiful man that came up and received his 13-year medallion, Troy, I believe his sponsor was murdered one day, the guy that was his mentor. And then one day he just got murdered out of nowhere. This is life. We have to be ready today to have God remove the. We don't want to go to our Creator. Our Creator says, "What were you doing that day what were you doing? It wasn't a dress rehearsal. That was the last day of your life on earth. What were you doing? Waiting for your defects of character to be removed next week? You didn't get next week. We only have today. My Creator, I'm now willing that you should have all of me. Which parts? All of me. And when we get to that place, in the day, by the way, I don't believe there's any levels in this deal. Okay. I'd say, probably, Harvey has the most sobriety or one of the most sobriety in terms of length of time. Like he's 49 years. Yes? 48 years. And one of the oldest in the room. He's 82. He doesn't get a pass. Nobody gets a pass. He acted out a couple weeks ago like a human being. You know what? He worked a perfect program in it. Made an amends to me. Not that he was to me personally, but he said, listen, I apologize. 48 years old, 82 of age, seen everything, seen all inventions come into play, seen people die, witnessed everything, stayed sober through it all, lost the treatment center, stayed sober through it all, lost his closest friends, sober through it all, closest friends dying, stayed sober through it all, still makes amends when he's 48 years sober. That's my Creator. I'm now willing that you should have all of me in that day. I know this is not a funny talk. You brought your families here. You were like, he's so funny. No, it's not going to be easy to be funny during this time. Because I'll tell you why. People are dying and people are relapsing because for lack of willingness to let these defects go. Lack of willingness to take a look at, what is okay is not okay when it makes you not okay. That was some deep stuff right there. I want to tell you something. That was like Robert Sanchez stuff. That was like some deep doctor stuff right there. When the things you're doing that you thought were okay now make you not okay, hopefully you're going to take a look and say, you know what, I'm going to let that go. I knew Mike very, very close. We were very close, Mike and Adam. I knew them back in the day before they both relapsed. And they were doing things that were not totally okay. And I was doing things that weren't totally okay. And guess what happened? We all relapsed. And that was the slate that got cleaned. But that doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes you get to 13, 14, 15, 16 years and you realize you're spiritually bankrupt and no one's telling you anything because you have the car, you have the house, you have the husband, you have the wife, you have the kids, you're in soccer, you're doing the PTA, but you're spiritually dead. That's when you go back to God and you say, God, listen, everybody thinks I'm the cat's meow, but I'm going to bed and you know I'm not. Well, I don't know if you know what it means, cat's meow. Everyone thinks I'm the greatest. Sometimes I use phrases from the 50s and all the kids are like, what? What does that mean? I don't even have a cat. What? Anya's not even says, what? What is that? You don't even know what that means. What is he bringing up cats for? You think you're the greatest and God tells you in your ear, you got a lot more work to do, kid. And hopefully you're listening. But sometimes what happens is we throw all our achievements at God and all God wants to do is have a conversation with us. My son did something today that was very hurtful and I wanted to share with you because I think that that's the way what I do with God sometimes. Like I got up early like I do every day. It's not the right thing to do. I'm definitely ruining him for life right now. He's 14 and I still get up every single day and make him his breakfast. I know it's terrible. I don't come to me afterwards. He's our only son. He's 14. I make him his breakfast every day. Today I made him a special breakfast. I had the ham. I had the whole thing, omelet. Amazing. Triple different things, different beverage choices, hot sauce that he likes, different types of vitamins. It was awesome. And he gets up and he leaves. And he says, bye. I'm like, bye. And I thought to myself, how many times did I do that with God? God gives us this new life, this unbelievable life that we should just be every single moment just thanking him. And I go like that. I go, bye. Bye. Were you not rolled up in a carpet 25 years ago in a psychiatric center with a robe that did not meet in the back? You wanted to, like Michael, wanted to throw yourself off a bridge, but you didn't have the guts to do it. And I get by? And I thought that was an amazing analogy on how many days I'm too busy to do a proper prayer. How many days I'm too busy to spend more time with him than a bye. How many times does he have to beg for my attention because I'm scrolling up in Facebook Shorts? I don't know if it's called Facebook Shorts, YouTube Shorts. Whatever the shorts are, they're not very short. A whole hour goes by if you flick any of them. But I'm telling God, bye. My sponsee's calling while I'm looking at the shorts and I do not disturb. Because I need to find out the latest and greatest trend on building muscle. Like at almost 60, any new muscles popping out at this point. My Creator, I'm now willing that you would have all of me, good and bad. I'm now ready for you to remove every single defect of character that stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me the strength because I can't do this on my own. I can't do it on my own. It's not going to happen. Matter of fact, I don't even want to do it on my own. I need you in every part of the day. Help me to let go of the banana and the coconut. Help me to let go of the things that are killing me. It's not that I have a bad picker. It's not that I pick the wrong things. I choose to be in bad relationships so that I can blame the other person. See, I told you it wasn't going to work. Yeah, of course, you met him on the med line at treatment. Of course, it's not going to work. Just because you have matching t-shirts and you came on the same van does not mean you're a soulmate. And I want you to know it doesn't always happen in the first year. Sometimes in the third year it happens. Because one is growing and the other one is not growing. I'm not saying all relationships that you meet in treatment are bad because some make it. But you need to push yourself. You can't stay sober on your partner's sobriety. In any partner. My business partner is here tonight. He goes to as many meetings as I go to. He goes to church on Sunday. We have to work our individual. My best friend Jerry's here. We don't go to heaven on someone else's sobriety. People sometimes say that I'm too religious for them when I'm speaking. I'm not religious at all. I'm relational. I want to have relation with the creator of the universe that took me from completely lost and brought me to a place where I feel good about myself most of the time. That's a blessing. If the Son sets you free, you're free indeed. Who's free? Raise your hand if you feel free indeed. It's free. It's unbelievable. Right. Exactly. James should put up 2 hands because he's free twice. My man.
Few people on Zoom raise their hands.
Yes. And now what are we going to do? We're going to rest on our laurels? Because this is what happens. A lot of people get stuck here. They want to be free, but they don't want to do the list in step 8. But a lot of people get stuck right here because they're not really good, because they do 4th, and then they do the 5th, and they do 6 and 7 in a day. And they feel like they're done with 6 and 7. People say, well, when did you do the 7th step? They say, oh no, I did that yesterday. I thought you did the 5th step yesterday. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, all same day. You do 5, 6, and 7 all in the same day, but 6 and 7 is a lifetime, one day at a time, every day. Listen, we have Bob Davis here. It was the expert, one of the experts on the steps. He'll tell you, we don't do the steps to do the steps. We do the steps to make it part of our life. Some people are getting confused. They're worshiping the steps. They're worshiping the big book. They're worshiping the meetings. It can't be further from the truth. It's like me going to Orlando in my car, and my destination is Orlando, but I'm worshiping the car the whole time. I'm thinking about how amazing this car is, how great this car is, and forgetting that the destination is freedom. Freedom from the bondage of self with a personal relationship with our Creator. That's the goal. If you're anywhere short of that, if you don't feel you have a personal relationship with your Creator, you're missing the point. Todd, am I with you? You with me? It's not about length of time of sobriety. That's great, and you will get it. It's about the quality of the length of time, the sobriety you have today. There's people that I know. Mason had a double pneumonia last week, got taken out of our recovery church on Wednesday night by an ambulance. And Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for those that love God and are called according to his good purpose. And he was smoking and it was killing him. And he stopped smoking that day and he hasn't went back to that. And the very next day, he got back into his program, and it's just a couple of days later, and he's here tonight in the front row. Why did I say all that? I say that because he didn't let that define him. He let that push him to the next level. The things we went through, our testimonies, they're going to either show people through we always do the 3rd step, right? The 3rd step prayer says that, victory over these, we are witness to others, right? Our difficulties and overcoming our difficulties are witness to others that God is completely in control. And this is the last thing I want to say. I think one of our biggest problems at least my biggest problem, is that right now I start taking back some of my will. Not tonight. Not tonight, George, but when I go home, I'm thinking, you know what? I had a great week. Did a lot of meetings, a great week, helped people, went out of my way for people. I'm going to take the foot off the pedal. And I think it's when we take the foot off the pedal, when we stop pushing, right, Jimmy? When we stop pushing, it's when the enemy comes in and goes, you know what? You've done a look over your kingdom. Look how great your kingdom is. Look what a great work you've done. And right at that time is when a woman is bathing at the same time. And we're going to name her Bathsheba. And I'm looking over the kingdom. I'm like, look, Mike, look what we did. We did so amazing. We're so great. And then next thing you know, we fall. Whatever that fall is, everybody falls. But do we get back up? Do we get back up and do we learn a lesson from that fall? Humbly ask God to remove the shortcomings, but are we going to continue to go back tomorrow and get the shortcomings again? Like, God, take away my pride, take away my anger, take away my lust, take away my envy. But do I get back in the line tomorrow to ask for the same things back? Do I act like a jerk when I drive? Why do some of the people in AA act like jerks when they drive? That's a major defect of character. You're not allowed to say when you're in AA practicing these principles in all your affairs, that's just the way I drive. You used to drive drunk. Is that just the way you drive? You used to drive high. Is that just the way you drive? No. So why you're in AA and you drive like a jerk? If you're giving people the finger in Alcoholics Anonymous, that's not okay. Well, that's not AA approved. No, it's practicing these principles in all our affairs. Somebody was in my car. Is Rex here tonight? He's probably not here. Somebody was in my car yesterday and he said that you got to be careful, Steve, because you could be arrested for the way you drive. And I go, what are you talking about? He says, you drive so slow, someone could arrest you for it. You heard him putting me down, Adam. I consider that an amazing compliment because I used to drive like a fool, a one-eyed fool. And now I drive very slow to where young people in my car are saying you could be arrested for driving too slowly. That's a change. That's a change right there. The things that I watch, and I learned this from Russell, the things that I watch, the things that I listen to, the things I let into my space, the things I let go into my brain, I got to be careful because it can create a new defect. My friends, my close friends, when they're around me, they try not to curse. And you know what? It's a blessing. Trying not to curse is a blessing. Trust me. Because when I was out, when I was a defect looking for character, all I did was curse. That's an unbelievable effing piece of pizza. I was always trying out for a Rocky movie and never getting the part. The last thing I want to share with you is Adam knows we were together. We saw a bunch of kids that are trying to get into the NFL. Beautiful people that are trying to get into the NFL. We were surrounded by them this week. I said, hey, would you guys mind if I said a prayer over you? Non-denominational prayer. They're like, yeah. I took in all these 22, 23, 24 years, giant people that are trying to get into the NFL, and I prayed over them. It's not because I have a religious background. It's because I have a heart for God. Yeah. It's because in the past, I would have been judging them. So now I pray with them. Because God, I want you to take away every single defect of character that I have, and I'm humbly ready for you to remove these shortcomings. God bless you. I'll see you guys next week.